Before I get to the movie review, I would like to say I support the WGA and the SAG strikes because without actors and writers, we wouldn't actually have the movies that we enjoy today. Because we knew how important these guys are. So we actually continue to support them during their strike, but we need to actually come together to actually to do what is right for them because they're the ones who actually make movies happen and the movies that we enjoy today. So I saw the movie Gran Turismo, which is a video game adaptation movie, but is also based off a true story of Jan Martin Woolworth, who's actually a gamer, aspired to be a real race car driver due to his love of Gran Turismo games, in which he wanted to become a race car driver. So this is actually a good movie, even though it is a video game movie, but it's also great. So here's the review. So the movie begins in the meeting pitch, which actually presented by executive Danny Moore, who's actually the marketing executive, who's actually played by Orlando Bloom, who you might know him in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and also which is actually the motor sports district of Nissan, who actually promotes an academy called the GT Academy that requires and recruit players who use the racing game Gran Turismo and turning them into real race drivers, knowing how they actually can become successful. So Moore hires former racer turned mechanic Jack Soller, who's played by David Harper, who's in the Black Widow movie as the Red Guardian, and Hellboy in last year's movie Violent Night as Santa to help train the racers. He actually refused, but accepted knowing how he actually is tired of the arrogance of his racer, Nicholas Kappa. So we knew that he's going to train kids who plays video games, which we see how a skilled gamer named Jan Martin Rose, who's actually played by Artie Maddie Reed, who actually a retail employee from Cardiff, Wales, which he actually is a huge fan of the video games, which the real Jen actually is still the stunt driver. But we knew that he couldn't get the approval of his father, Steve Maveret, who's actually played by Djamon Hounsou, who was in Shazam and the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which he told him that life isn't a video game, but we can tell how he is eligible for the qualifying race at the academy, which he can join. So, after a record course that he has did, by which the night of the race that he's going to participate, he was actually invited by his brother Kobe to a party one night, so they decided to take their father's car, where Yan actually impressed a girl named Arbery, which she is actually impressed by him, but they actually was disbanded because of the police. So they actually engaged of a high-speed chase where they strive towards the city with their friends, knowing how they were pulled off. So their brothers have escaped, but they were caught by their father Steve. So Yan, as punishment, is placed into in the place of employment at his father's work at the train tracks, hoping to get a life lesson. But knowing how he's going to participate in the qualifying race, he actually done it and win, earning a place in the academy. So we knew how Salter had put them into a pace, into rigorous tests, which 10 will narrow down to 5, in which one of them is going to help. But Yan actually crashed with Salter in the car, who will say that the brakes were grazed, but proved correctly by analysis, much to his surprise. So the 5 are competing in the race, in which will represent NASA, which Yan won against the American competitor Maddie Davis, who's Darren Barnett, which he's the top Academy racer, which we knew that he's actually have competed many times, but we knew how he's should be chosen to represent NASA. But because of how they realize of how he has better commercial viewage, they actually choose Yan instead, because we knew how if he finished at least 4th at one of these series, he will earn a professional license and a contract with NASA, which he finished last in his first professional race. So he actually realized how he actually got tapped. I mean, Carpot taps him in a spin, which of course grants him to to perform improvements in the next races, which they travel to Dubai to his last qualifying race, where we knew how he took the corner too fast and crashed, which of course Yin wins 4th and got his license, where we knew how he traveled to Tokyo so we can sign the contract and a signing bonus. He gets to fly his crotch Arbery to Tokyo, where they start their relationship in which he actually had his first race after signing at a company. He starts the race and managed a high performance, but he was actually got out of control with the car and was lifted up the air and crashed, which there's a lot of talk about the controversy with the crash. So he was hospitalized and say that the spectator was killed, which he doesn't want to race anymore, so he refused to return. But Sutter actually take him back to the tracks, revealed that he was once a race car driver, but he was involved in a fatal accident 24 hours that led him to retirement. So, knowing of how he was clear of any wrongdoing, but they began to turn against sim racers, which more say that a sim race team should compete in Le Mans and finish to prove their validity, but more enlisted Maddie and the other the participant Antonio Cruz to make up the three race team along with Yan. So Steve appeared on the race day to apologize for not being supportive of his dreams, which he actually will support him, which we knew how he was shaken up after the crash, which the other competitor was caught on fire. But he managed to shake it up after how Seller played the songs through the car, which now he actually has the courage to race through. When Maddie and Antonio finished their shifts without any incident, he actually appeared in the last second to regain his positions, which the last lap pinned him against Kappa, which he barely made it in the last second, finishing third, with, of course, from NASA. And at the end of the episode, the real Jan Martin Broros is shown competing over 200 races and actually served as a stunt driver for the movie, in which it so the movie was actually incredible despite being actually having mixed reviews, and the crash was a controversy, but it's actually incredible. Also get to see the real Yan to perform as the stunt driver of his own race scenes, in which he actually had the story tell about him from a gamer to a race car driver, now a stunt driver, which it is based off the true story, which of course based off the video game franchise of the same name, in which all in all it's a really good movie, so I cannot wait to see what else they have in mind. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the movie review. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr, and my Facebook page and Twitch. But till then, this is Anime Guys right here saying signing out. Laters and be safe.